Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with another tutorial. I want to preface this video by saying I merely saw a photo on Facebook. It wasn't associated with a video or anything. It was just something somebody in a group shared that they saw somewhere. So I'm sorry that I cannot give the proper attribution or credit to the person whose idea it was, but I'm going to make it here with you today. So let me show you what we've got going on here. I'm going to set these bits aside. That's what we're going to be working on together. So it's it's a tag shape. Obviously it's a tag shape. I'm going to do the one together differently with the back here than you see. I don't like that back, and I didn't really want to cover it because I put my eyelet in before I covered these bits, so we'll do that differently. But it opens up. It's got obviously a gatefold, so it's going to open up like this. I'm just going to take one of those strings out, and then what you have inside, I just put this decorative paper on here just to make that peeking through pretty, but it is a gusseted pocket, so like that. But I just love this idea of a gatefold in this fashion, so I thought we would make some together. So this is some paper from a new creator that I just purchased from. I don't have it in front of me. Oh, wait a minute, I do. This is from this minty green paper. It's called the French Fancy from the journal Boater. And then the background paper again is from Ruby and Pearl Beautiful Birds kit. So that is the information for the prototype. So that's what we're going to be making. So the first one I have here, I already have cut just so I can go one time through it with you with everything pre-cut, and then we'll cut one together as well so you can see it from start to finish. So I apologize for the shadow. I've been struggling with my camera. I mentioned before that it was like floppy and it didn't want to stay. Well, the whole arm finally gave out, so I had to go out to the outdoor studio. I have a little really small studio, like the size of a bathroom, like maybe a little bit bigger than a bathroom. It used to be an old chicken coop, and I had another arm out there for filming if I wanted to do that in the coming summer. So I went out and grabbed that to fix this problem. So this one, I believe I chose to do it exactly the same dimensions. So in case you're following along, this is our tag base, and our tag base measures 4 inches by 6.5 inches, and we're going to cut another one exactly this size so we can cover the back as well. And then our gatefold pieces, the gatefold piece is the door part, the gatefold. We're going to cut that in the middle, and it measures 5 inches by 5 3/4. And what we're going to do is, you can see that it is bigger than the tag, right? But that's just so that we can do our scoring to fold it around the other side. So that's that. And then these are the pockets. So I just printed this paper. It's from Digital Fit. It's called Grungy Florals. All of these papers, other than the background paper, this is from the Beautiful Birds kit, Ruby and Pearl. But I thought I wanted something a little bit more decorative on the front, so I didn't have to put any kind of embellishment, and my focus is all off on this camera right now. I don't know if I touched something when I had to hook it all back up, but it is what it is. So I haven't glued these closed yet, but I basically just measured these out at 3 7/8 by 5 3/4. Well, I think I went slightly shorter than that 5 3/4. I'm sorry, as I am thinking about this again, because it was too close to the top. So, it is 5 3/4. So we might have to trim those down, because what's going to happen when these get glued on, they're going to sit just there. See, they're too tall. So we probably want to change that measurement. I'm so sorry, guys, to maybe 5 5/8 instead. So I'm going to take off about a quarter of an inch, or an eighth of an inch. So let me do that really quick just so that we can move on. And since they're all right here, I'm just going to turn here to my cutter and try to cut them at the same time. Hopefully this is not a big mistake. Perfect. So better to have them be too short than too long. So that is much better. So see how it's falling below the corner of our tag. So again, same measurements as the prototype. So let's go ahead and get going with the assembly. So I'm going to set these aside because we don't need them quite yet. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is score this. So I believe that I'm going to do, if this is 4 inches and this is 5, that means my score lines are going to be a 1/2 inch on either side. So I'm going to score this really quick. I'm not going to bring the cutter and scoreboard into view. I'm just going to turn here and do this really quick. Is it a 1/2 inch? I don't think a 1/2 inch is right. I'm just going to mark it because I'm just not feeling like I trust this. It just feels bigger than a 1/2 inch, or not, yeah. It is a 1/2 inch. It looks bigger on my scoreboard, so I don't know. I'm gonna make a pencil mark because I'm feeling weird about it. So just my stuff. So there we go. So let me score this. Oh, there we go. Just gonna get my eraser and erase those marks just in case they show. So now we know that and I'm going to just show you on this side since we can see it better without the print. So now this is 4 inches. So now we want to find this center. So I'm going to go ahead and make a mark at 2 inches. All right, 2 inches, like so. My vision is always really off on these things with measurements. Measurements are not my cup of tea. So I'm just going to again reach over here and just trim this, or cut it in half rather. Is that what I want to do? Let me think about this first. Yes, that's what I want to do. I did it somewhat out of order in the prototype and it kind of messed me up. So let's see what we got here. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we've got 2 halves, and before I move on, I didn't do this in the prototypes and I wish that I had. I'm going to, let's find which is which here. Goodness gracious. So it goes like that. So I'm going to put these together like this so that I can find my center and put my eyelet holes in for the gatefold. So I've sandwiched those together. I'm going to get my 0 gravity ruler. Pardon me a second. And let's see, 3 and, oh, how tall was this? 5 3/4, I believe. Yes. So it's after work, so, and I am so fried. I just don't even have any words to describe the feeling. So I think we want to be about there. Okay, so I'm going to move this up. Well, doesn't matter. I can mark at the 6. Sorry, I'm floundering here. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want them to be the same on both pieces. That's what I'm aiming for here. So I'm just going to make a pencil mark right here at the 6 in this case. And I'm going to just make a mark right there. Okay. And I'm going to keep those, I'm going to put those back together rather, and I'm going to go ahead and punch my hole. Where did it go? Where did my mark go? Goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. Oh my goodness gracious. This is embarrassing. Oh, there it is. It looks like a big blob of the flower. That's why. That's why I'm confused. I see it now. I'm going to use the small hole on my little thing here. I'm just going to put that over that pencil mark. Like so. I don't have to put the eyelets in yet, but I wanted to get those set. Okay, so we are here and we are here. Our holes are there. So we can move on. So now we're going to go ahead and just burnish this. You wouldn't have to make this wide. I just really was struggling in kind of a bit of a hurry to make the prototypes and get something ready for the video. So you wouldn't have to, you could do like 1/4 inch. You wouldn't have to do a whole 1/2 inch. I am working with 65-pound paper. That's what I prefer for ephemera. However, my pockets, the gusseted pockets, are printed on 20-pound paper because they don't need to be as thick. They create a lot of bulk. So, alrighty. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to ink up the base of the tag and these pieces, and I'll be right back. Okay. I'm not too worried about the inking of the back of this because we're going to be covering that. But let's go ahead and get these on. So now basically what you're going to do, it's pretty self-explanatory, pretty intuitive. You're just going to glue this on here. Feels like it's a little tall. Why is it tall? Why is it tall? No, maybe not. It's just, nope, it's not. It's just my eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Fabri-Tac. That just allows me to be able to move it and adjust it. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm just going to put some glue on the flap on the inside. Okay, and then just make sure you keep your papers going the right direction. Otherwise you'll be sorry. Okay, there we go. Right about there. Doesn't matter if it's right up to that fold. That's not a problem. And just give that a good press. Like so. Perfect. And we're going to do the same with this side. The one I haven't cut yet, we're gonna talk about the measurements. I haven't decided what size I'm going to make it. We might play around and make it smaller, or we might not. I really like the print that I chose, so we might not make it smaller because I don't want to cut out too much of the image, so that'll make more sense in a second. Okay, again, just butt that up there. Make sure it's nice and straight. Okay, like that. And then just give it a press. You do get a little bit of a gap, which I'm not exactly sure why, because if it's 4 inches across, you know, I don't understand why we have a gap. Unless we're, I guess what's happening here is the way it's scored. Maybe we're not getting it butted up against that edge properly. So let's see if we can fudge that over a little bit. That might help. It doesn't really matter. I didn't think it looked terrible. It kind of leaves something peeking through. So that's now crooked. So, okay, there we go. Easy peasy. So I think we're going to go ahead and put the back on it now too, just so that we can properly move on to the gusseted pockets. So I have to put this stuff out of my way, and I printed another double-sided piece of this background paper to do another tag. So I'm going to go ahead and measure that out at 4 by 6.5. I'll be right back. There we go. So of course you guys could make this any size you want. I tend to like a larger tag, so that's why I do that. So I'm going to go ahead and just, oh boy, I'm not going to be able to measure that out. We're got too high here. Ugh. Okay, we're going to have to do our best. So I should have cut an extra one at the time rather than doing it after the fact, but we're just going to make it work. I'm just going to slide my scissors under there and just try to slice that tag shape off on both corners. Not a big deal. Just make sure you don't cut into that bit if you're following me. That was not the best way to do that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and glue this on, and I like that a lot better. I don't want to really see all that. I don't want to see all that, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to ink this really quick just because it's easier than doing it after it's glued. So I'm curious, what are you guys up to? What are you creating? I have been very distracted of late, so I've been exhausted and coming home and just collapsing, virtually collapsing, and it's just been, there's just a lot going on. It's hard. Actually, I want that to go the other way. I want this part to show. I love that distressed part of that paper. So let's just have this be the outside. Like so. So we'll glue this side. And I'm just going to place this on here. And again, using fabric tack is a gift because you can move this until it is in the perfect position. And it's just lines up so beautifully. There we go. Awesome. I love it. We got a little bit of a sharp corner there, but that's all right. Okay, so now we can get going on the pockets. So I did 3 of these, and again, they measure 3 7/8 by 5 3/4, so 5 3/4 inches high. So I'm going to go ahead and ink these really quick, and then we're going to glue them. We're going to glue this side and the bottom to make our pocket, and then I'll be back with you in a moment. Okay, last one. I'm going to go ahead and just finish this, and then I'm going to show you how we put it on the inside of the tag. Just super, super easy. Now, of course, you could have just used book pages or any paper to make the pockets because they're not really going to show. But I love this stuff sticking out. So when we put this in and the accordion happens, you're going to see glimpses of the sides of it. So I like that. So now what we're going to do is get this in place, and we're going to put, let's see, which way do we want them to go? I think we'll switch them around so they're not all the same. So I think I want this one to be on the front, so I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to put about 1/4 inch of glue. So I'm just going to go down, 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 and I'm going to make it about 1/4 inch wide, and then fill in all that area. Some people like to use double-sided tape. Double-sided tape is like glue stick to me. We are not friends, and so I do not tend to like double-sided tape, so I don't use it. You could, of course, if you wanted to. So now we're just going to set this on here, and I'm going to put it as low here as to the bottom as I can, and kind of go like that, and just kind of center it as best I can. Okay, give that a press. For some reason that's all crooked at the bottom. I'm not sure what that's about, but I don't know. Okay, and so this one I think I'll switch, so I'll put the glue on this side. So again, 1/4 inch down the middle. Ish, it doesn't have to be precise in any way. Okay, put that on there. You're just lining it up, okay, to the same place as on the one below it. Again, does not have to be perfect in any way. And then we'll put this one this way again because I realized that the bottom was the bottom, not the top. Okay. There we go. And this is the last one. And I'll decorate these off camera as well. I'm not going to take the time to do that. I'm not even going to put the eyelets in on camera. So that's what she looks like. And then when it opens, you have these beautiful pockets. But see how you can see the print in between, which I think is really, really lovely. So that is our first one. So I will put some seam binding on there. I picked this really beautiful fuchsia color. I thought that was really pretty to bring out some of the deeper, richer pinks in that flower. And then I'll put an eyelet in the top, and that will be that. So let me get the other one in here. So that is that one. Let's get those little sticky notes out of the way. And so I was thinking about 3 by 6, but I feel like that's not very much of a different size, but we'll see. We'll play with it together. So the papers I'm using for this one are from the Heavenly Angels Folio Kit from Sweet Pea Curiosities, and I have not used this paper. I mean, I've used the background papers before, but this particular one just really spoke to me for this project. So I want to make sure that we get this as part of our gatefold and kind of split that flower if we can. I've got 3 pieces of paper for our our pockets. So I'm going to set those aside as well because we don't need them yet. So let's just think about how big it would actually be if it was just 3 by 6. I think 3 by 6 would actually be a nice size. So that means it would be a 3-inch. Yeah, we could totally do that and split that flower because it would be, we would do it we'll do this one 3.5 inches wide for our score lines. So let me cut this down to 3 by 6 and I'll be right back. Yeah, 3 by 6 is a nice size. Look at that. Oh, we should have cut the other one at the same time because we need to. Let's just do that by hand here. I think I want that edge. I'm just going to manually cut it. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. But we'll cut our corners at the same time too so that they are exactly the same. This is a shortcut way to do it. It's all right. Thank goodness tomorrow is Friday. It's been a week. It's been a week. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut our little corners. I'm trying to find my credit card thingies that I use for my template. I think that one would be a good size. Number 2, I named it. So I'm just going to cut through both layers. Again, that's just going to help it to line up perfectly. Don't cut your hand, Renee. Turn it over. Make sure it's still even. And do that corner. This is a pretty big cut for the small tag, but that's okay. So if you want the measurements for this, we did 3 by 6 for the tag, and so we'll talk about the measurements for the other pieces as well. So I need to cut the edges off of this, and I'm going to cut this one down to be, what did I say? If it's 3 inches wide, I think we could just do 1/4 inch score lines instead of 1/2 inch. So I'll cut this at 3.5 by, oh, I didn't think about the height. So we'll have to do that together. Let me just bring the cutter over. So I told you we were gonna do this together. So there we go. Just get my white edges. I didn't even prep this. So there we go. So we'll start with that. We'll start with 3.5. Whoops, knocking everything over. Goodness gracious. Okay, so there we go. So 3.5. Okay, so then the way that you figure out how tall your gatefold fold needs to be is you need to, I should have cut that off, sorry, is you need to get your tags out that you cut and figure out what your height is here. Okay, so I know I want these flowers at the bottom, so I'm going to manually trim that white off as well. Okay, and you're just going to kind of put this up here like that, and you want your gatefold height to go to that tip or slightly lower. So we're just going to go right here. Okay, so measurement wise, if that's important to you, is going to be 5.25. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and trim that. Perfecto. Okay, so same thing. We're going to score this. I'm going to grab the little score tool since this is a small piece of paper score thing. And so we're going to score at 1/4 inch. And this one always throws me because it's hard to see the measurements right there. Okay. I should be able to visually identify that anyway, but you know. So not there. Is it there? Oh my goodness, the lighting is terrible. Yeah, right here. Okay. So I'm just going to score that. I don't think that's 1/4 inch, is it? Oh, I can't tell. Anyways, 1/4 inch, we'll find out. looks more like 1/8 of an inch. But again, perception is tricky, right? Perception can be very tricky. Yeah, it is 1/4 of an inch. Okay, perfect. Like I said, perception is tricky. So we're going to go ahead and just fold that and give it a good crease. Okay, like so. Perfect. That's going to split that flower perfectly. So now again we're working with 3 inches. So we want to find the halfway mark, which is 1.5. So I'm going to just put this up here, and I'm going to make a mark here at 1.5. I'm just going to turn here to my cutter and trim that off, or trim it off. I keep saying that. I'm trimming it off. I'm cutting it in half. Perfect. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so eraser. See a pencil mark there? Okay, so there we go. Oh, that's really lovely. I like that. I like how that goes together. It's like a puzzle. So I'm going to go ahead and take a moment. Same thing. I'm going to ink these up really quick. Okay, just finishing up the inking here. And then we're going to go ahead and make our marks for the holes for the gatefold. So we want to make sure that we get this going the right direction, which is like that. So that means we're going to sandwich them together this way. That's just the way that I remember the best how to do it. And I'm going to just try to line those up as best I can. I can't remember on the other one if it seems like one seems wider than the other. How is that possible? Look at that. I don't know. I don't know. It's a mystery. Okay, so we're going to lay that down. We're going to find our center. These are so tricky for me, guys. Okay, there we go. So we're at just over 2.5 on either side, which is our center. And so I'm going to move this ruler down so I can make a mark here. Work nights are hard. Hard for the thinking. Hard for the thinking. So that's 2.5, so that's too far. Move it back over about there. Make a little mark here. That's a whole lot easier to see. To see. Okay, so I'm going to get my hole punch here. Give that a little punch. Okay, so now we can finish up. And again, I will decorate all these off camera so you guys can see. Just don't have it in me on camera today. Okay, so same thing. We're going to go ahead and glue this little hinge on. So I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac. Goodness, I can't even keep it on the paper. What? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're just gonna line that up there. And I'm gonna try to get it right in that crease though this time, so that we get a little bit of less of a gap. I think that's what's happening, which is why we're getting that hole in the middle. You could obviously figure out how to adjust that. It doesn't concern me, it doesn't bother me, so I'm not going to worry about it. This one I'll probably have to decorate the front of the pocket since I'm just using the background paper again for the pockets. So this way, right? Yes. Okay, just set that on there. Easy peasy. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, there we go. That is beautiful. Oh, I love it. It would be better if there was no gap. So I'm gonna have to think on that and see how I could solve that in the future. And let's get our other, the back of our tag. And I'm gonna decide, I think I want this one to be the actual back, so ink that up. We are just about done. Easy, easy project. There's, again, so many variations you could do with this, you guys. Be so fun to explore. Gatefolds, I think, are really interesting, and there's a lot you can do with them. So we're going to go ahead and just glue this on. My husband got home, so just in time for me to be done with the video. We'll have some dinner. Okay, there we go. It's a little bit of an overhang there. Interesting. I don't mind it though. I think it kind of looks cool. So that way, if you wanted to just have this be a floating kind of piece, you would have writing space on the back in this case. So there we go. That is the second one. So I will decorate off camera. I'll probably put something. Oh, we didn't do the pockets. So yeah, let's do that. I told you that I would do that. So I'm a woman of my word. So I'm going to go ahead and, looks like I didn't cut that white edge off of the one side. So let me do that really quick. You want these to be pretty straight, otherwise they could be problematic. And here, I thought we were done. It's all right. So, so these ones, we would want to make them, let's look at our other things. So we had the pockets be slightly smaller. So this is 3 inches. So we would make these paper pockets 2 7/8 by, so let me write that down. So pockets 2 7/8 by ruler right in front of your face. And then we don't want it to go all the way to the top. So I'm going to say, let's just say 5 1/8 on that. 5 1/8. Okay. So just set that up there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. Let's go ahead and fold these. Let's see if we can fold them together. So, why am I having such trouble? I want it to go this way, and I want it to be 5 1/8. So, because we can probably get 2 out of this. Okay, I don't know if we can. What is it in half? Yeah, we can do that. So we can get 2 of them out of this one piece of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this, trim this down to 5 1/8 inches high. I'm going to bring that cutter back over just to stay in camera here for you guys. Okay, so I'm just going to take off this edge. So I'm going to line this up to the 5 1/8 inches here. So 5 1/8 by 2 7/8. So then I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to find 2 7/8 right there ish. That edge is not straight. I'm gonna straighten that edge up. I feel concerned about that. Okay, because you want your lines to be pretty straight, just so that your pockets will line up. So 2 7/8 right there. Okay, let's bring that over, make sure I'm thinking correctly. Yep. I wonder if we get 3 out of this. I don't think so. I think this 2 7/8. I don't think we'll get quite. We'll just have to get 1 more piece of paper. That's okay. Alright, that's 2. So let's get 1 more piece of paper over here. We're able to fold it in half. Put it down to 5 1/8. I wish I knew who created this, but there was no, it was like somebody was just sharing. I don't know if they saw it on Instagram or Pinterest or something, but there was not a creator that went with the project, so I didn't have an opportunity to try to Google it or look it up, but you guys certainly could if you wanted to. I mean, there's so many ideas in the junk journaling world that so many people have done. It's just really hard to always point to the person that you can't point to the person who originated it. That's the fact. So now this time we're going to lose some of our pocket because of the way we folded our paper, because we have to put glue on both edges. So let me do that really quick and I'll be right back. There we go. Didn't get quite as thin of a glue line there as I wanted on that last one, but that's okay. Let's just ink this up a little bit. I think I didn't communicate a whole thought when I was asking how you guys are doing. I kind of asked and then I went off on something. So what are you guys working on? Are you making journals? Do you have a journal that you're in progress with? Or are you making ephemera? Or are you just watching to kind of build up your arsenal of ideas? I'd love to hear. I did that for a long time. I watched a lot of videos. It was super helpful. Because it's when you first start out, it's like, oh my goodness, where do I start? You know, and sometimes, well, I started out making ephemera. Like, I was doing this for months and months and months before I ever did a journal. So I loved the ephemera. The ephemera making is my favorite part. So, but let me know in the comments what you guys are working on. I'd really like to know. There we go. Okay, so now let's get our pockets in. That was kind of crazy. Okay, so you just want to make sure that you've got the top at the top, obviously. So we're going to make sure we've got an opening there. We do. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. You can go a little bit narrower on this because it's a smaller pocket, but it doesn't really matter. You just get a really secure hold when you go a little bit thicker, I think, with this line. There we go. Put that in the middle. Perfect. Love it. We put the back on, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Okay. I think I want this one to be on the front because I really like that this looks like it was like old tape on the original person that digital, so I like it. Okay, there's the second one. You could put as many pockets in here too as you wanted. I want to figure out how to make one. I like this gatefold idea, but I'd like to be able to make them bigger so that they could go in the inside cover, front and back cover of a journal. I think they'd be great ephemera holders for, you know, the overflow ephemera. I always have extra stuff that is from a kit that I didn't use that I've already fussy cut, and I like to send that along to the person who I give the journal to, or who purchases it. The person who purchases it. Oh my goodness. So you could definitely alter this in all kinds of ways for whatever your purpose is. So there we go, and there's our little pockets. I'm not going to open them too much because I don't want to affect the glue, but there we go. Boom. So that is it for today, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed and that you're inspired and that you'll try it. I do have a group now. I haven't been mentioning that in the videos. I'm not, again, I'm not about trying to get a bunch of people to come over, but I do want to give the opportunity if people are interested. So it's called B.Reborn Art Journal Inspiration Group. So I will link it down below in the description box for you. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.